When I first read MORT CINDER by HECTOR, Oesterheld, and Alberto Breccia, the poetry of T.S. Eliot immediately came to mind. Death and ashes are something that are common in his work, in The Wasteland and the four quartets in particular, the latter being one of my favorite poems of all time. For many years, three writers from Argentina formed the trinity that I always return to: Jorge Luis Borges, Julio Cortázar, and Adolfo Bioy Cáceres. But in recent times, I've been thinking about Oesterheld quite a bit, and I've decided that he's now going to join the group, and the trinity is now a quartet. Oesterheld admired Ray Bradbury, who's considered the poet of science fiction. And one thing that he has in common with Bradbury is his humanity, which is prevalent in the works of Bradbury, such as the Martian Chronicles and his other major works, and is certainly common and noteworthy in Oesterheld's works, such as Eletronauta and in MORT CINDER. In the Arabian Nights, there are over 1,000 tales. In MORT CINDER, he's a man of over 1,000 deaths. He dies and is reborn for at least 2,000 years. He was a Spartan, and he was there when the Tower of Babel was built. Our story takes place in the 1960s. MORT CINDER has one friend, who is his Dr. Watson to Sherlock Holmes, a book collector named Mr. Winston. Charlie's mother is just one of many examples of the talent in Oesterheld, where you can take an old woman sitting on a bench and write a very magical and moving story. MORT CINDER likes train stations because they are places where people's paths cross and destinies are fulfilled. This woman comes to the station every day and stays there the entire day. It's not known why to them. However, he recognizes something about her sticks with him. And there's another important fact. A worker there at the train station brings her flowers every day. Out of pity, maybe? Who knows why? But this woman does not miss a day, does not miss a train. She's waiting for someone to come home to her. And that someone is her son, who disappeared in the First World War. MORT CINDER recognizes something about the woman's features, and it makes him go back in time to 1917 and in France, when he was in the trenches. And he remembers a young man named Charlie. And that young man, Charlie, is this man here, the man who brings this old lady flowers every day. The Germans are overrunning. There's no way they can survive this onslaught. They either need to retreat or get reinforcements. And the sergeant sends Charlie to the Communications Trend Center. However, when Charlie gets there, he's terrified of going back. He tells him that his whole company has been wiped out, so he's not sent back. But MORT CINDER, who was there, shows up and reveals the truth to what actually happened. And now MORT is sent back to tell the men to retreat. But MORT doesn't make it, and all the men are killed. And we jump now back to the present. And Charlie, now an old man, recognizes MORT CINDER. And he doesn't want MORT to tell that woman the truth, because that woman is his mother. One of the many strengths of OESTERHELD is his economy of writing, the choice of words. Yes, I came back many years ago, but my mother didn't even recognize me. I was barely a man when I left her. The war did the rest. The war and regret. Every day I see her here, waiting for trains from Southampton. I want to tell her I'm already here, but I can't. Someone told her that I betrayed my comrades. I don't know what she fears more, that I'm dead, or that she'll learn I was a coward. And MORT tells him he has to tell the truth. And he refuses to. But MORT is not going to have it. At this point, Ezra witnesses MORT sitting with the old woman, and they talk for a while. Then he comes back and tells Charlie that his mother's waiting for her. The truth, Ezra, that Charlie has no idea how much a mother can bear. A mother doesn't care about heroism in battle. A mother is much more interested in the small kindnesses of every day. Flowers every afternoon. The small kindnesses that Charlie never stopped doing for her. That more than eclipses his cowardice. They washed away all the crimes of the past, including his betrayal at the Shem de Dam. And anyway, Charlie was so young back then. He wasn't even 19. MORT CINDER by HECTOR and OESTERHELD and ALBERTO BRECCIA.